What's up? I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast,
where we interview successful businessmen and women to let you in on why success doesn't have a single formula to follow.
We also have a little bourbon tasting along the way, because why not?
Why not?
So guys, please enjoy this episode and let us know your thoughts at Bourbon and Business Podcast on Instagram.
Coming to you from the Bourbon and Business Studio here in the Capitol Club in downtown Jackson, Mississippi. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Dakota.
And this is the Bourbon and Business Podcast.
Why do you look at me? I know you're Tyler.
Well,
you need to tell our listeners.
Because I'm talking to you, Dakota. You want to tell our listeners a little bit about the Capitol Club and quit messing the intro up?
I just love throwing you off, dude, because it's so funny. Yeah, this is the Capitol Club in downtown Jackson, Mississippi, the premier event space in downtown Jackson. They have parking, daily lunches, networking events, networking spaces that you can rent. We're on the 20th floor, their rooftop bar here, which is, as you can see, beautiful behind us. I think they had like a wedding reception here last night or something, so it's a good spot. If you don't know, you're missing out. Look them up.
Yep. And you want to introduce our guests to us?
I do. Today we have special guest, Tay Morgan, owner and publisher of Stroll Magazine. Tay, welcome.
Hey, thank y'all. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. And then what are we sipping on, Dakota?
We are sipping on Hirsch. We were just talking about this before. I'm not even going to try to pronounce you know what? I am going to try the Bivouac. I don't know if that's correct or not. It's the orange label one. I'm lucky I got Hirsch, Hirsch. It is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Tyler, what is your opinion on it?
Well, it's very good. I like it a lot.
I love the language used.
It's got a good burn to it. You know, I'm not sure, with it being a Kentucky bourbon, how they came up with the name of it. But anyways, you know, we'll go with it. Proof-wise, it's going to be a higher proof. I'm thinking maybe 105.
100.
So 100
You've
proof.
been about 4 or 5 off all day, dude.
So
good job.
Good burn to it. I'm going to have to give it a 9.3. So I really like it. I mean, if you're a bourbon drinker, you will like this.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to get into bourbon, you may not like it as much just because it's more of an acquired taste. But if you've been drinking bourbon for a while, you'll like this one. So, Tay, we appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thank you.
We like to always start this podcast. Just tell our listeners where you're from and then how you got to the point of becoming the owner of Stroll Magazine.
All righty. So I'm Tay Morgan. I grew up in Jackson, lived here all my life, raised our family here. We moved out to Madison in 2013, and I moved into a neighborhood that had a private publication, which I had never heard of that, didn't know about that. So, and it was called Bridgewater Living at the time. We moved out in Ridgeland. And so this magazine just comes to your mailbox every month. It just appears. And I'm kind of a people person. I don't meet a stranger. And so the HOA board asked me pretty soon after we moved in to be like the neighborhood liaison with the magazine, helping with content, if I knew anybody that'd like to be an advertiser. So I kind of jumped in. And then like less than a year later, the girl who was the publisher at the time was going back to school, asked me if I would be interested. And I, of course, said no. I'm an artist, and I was doing tons of volunteer work. And I just said I don't have time. And anyway, just kind of said, well, you know what? I'll check it out. I had no idea it was a national franchise. I had no idea that it was a paid job. So I kind of delved in and I ended up interviewing for it and took it over. And since then, it's been 6 years. We have rebranded the company. There are 550 Stroll magazines throughout the country.
Wow.
Mississippi, we have 5, because to be a Stroll neighborhood, you've got to have at least 500 homes, and the home values in that neighborhood be some of the highest in the area. So it's a more targeted lifestyle, feel-good publication. So same thing with Lake Caroline, Wellsgate, and Oxford, and Eastover. They were all in print at some point, went out of print, because it's just like a Chick-fil-A franchise. If your franchise isn't up to compliance or up to the standard, they take you out. And so I got the opportunity to now own 4 in Mississippi, and we have 5. We also have Reunion in Madison, and a different owner owns that. So that's how it came to be. I had no idea. I do have a sales background, which is what I did right out of Ole Miss. So that was super helpful, because basically being the publisher, I'm responsible for interviewing all of the local businesses about advertising. And we don't we don't put people in the magazine unless one of us interviews them to make sure they're a good, reputable company and all that, because we're basically recommending them
Right.
to all of these homeowners. So the homeowners receive it free every month in their mailbox.
Fantastic.
So that's kind of how that came to be.
Yeah.
So for all our listeners, if they're to pick up a Stroll magazine, what do they expect to find in it?
Okay. So we kind of have a template nationwide that we try to follow, but each one is different depending on that neighborhood. So we always try to have a neighbor on the cover. And then we interview that family and find out about where they work, we love to know about their community involvement, community service. We always have a pet. We always have a recipe. We try to have either what we call an awesome kid or a young achiever, older, younger. I've got I think Bridgewater, we do a graduation issue every year that features all the graduates in the neighborhood. So everyone is a little bit different, but you can always find an HOA page. So I work closely with the HOAs, and they'll say, hey, this is coming up, or if you need to get your mailbox replaced, this is who to call, or if you need to get keys to the pool, we have a page dedicated to that. And then we also feature anything happening in the neighborhood, like if there's a garden club or like Lake Caroline just did a magic show in the park. Anything like that, they know to work with me, and we'll publish it for them in the magazine. So it's just all about feel-good content. We don't ever do anything political in there. That's a big no-no. And we're just trying to show the happy part of life, basically, in here, and what's good. Love to work with local nonprofits. I try to always put something about the community in there, where that publication is, or if there's somebody in the neighborhood that's doing something good in the community, we try to feature that.
Gotcha. I've always thought a TV show dedicated to only good news would
be awesome.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
We always know, bad news is what sells, right?
Exactly.
And fear mongering is what creates people and stuff. But I just feel like a show that only, shows like puppies and kittens and like
people doing good
stuff that like everybody in the world can kind of get behind on like a maybe 90 to 99%, like everybody agrees that that's a good thing.
Right.
Would just do super awesome.
Well, and I think that's why these are successful. People, like if somebody doesn't get it in their mailbox and they know their neighbor has, they reach out.
Yeah.
Like they look forward to it every month because it's a happy thing to read. Plus, they kind of like to know what their neighbors are doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll feature a yard. We'll feature
I never
a home.
knew what Jim did.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see how beautiful her kitchen is?
Yeah.
We'll do features like that. So people, it's a good thing.
Well, and it's funny you said that, back
You
in
want
the,
a beautiful kitchen, Tyler?
well, my wife, she wants a beautiful kitchen.
Listen, we can hook her up. I've got lots of good recommendations.
There's plenty of
for her.
stuff to choose from.
Exactly.
But, back in the day, the newspapers, the reason I noticed, I was doing some research on my family, going back through old newspaper clippings. And my grandmother and all her friends, cousins, and everybody, they would always write into the newspaper every week and say, like, hey, like, my dad's going back to college. He's leaving to go back. Or they're
Just
going
like
on
spilling the
vacation.
family.
And they would tell, like, everything that was going on in their life would be printed in this little lifestyle section of the newspaper.
That's
so
cool. I didn't know that.
That is,
I mean, this is kind of like the modern version of that.
Yeah.
Because we do like to show if somebody is named, Physician of the Year, or
Yeah.
some kid has done, like we've got a kid we're fixing to feature in Eastover in July that's just been appointed to the Air Force Academy.
Wow.
So,
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so the families are excited to have their person featured, but it's just a good thing. And I have so enjoyed learning this business, and it's the parent company is into publishing.
Okay.
And so they have like these lifestyle magazines, they have real estate magazines, so I'm doing the lifestyle stroll, meaning stroll through the neighborhood.
Right.
And if you look at our logo, looks like a mailbox or a front door with an S on it, to where you're just strolling, and it's a faith-based, which is one of the reasons I just love this company. It's a faith-based company. The franchise, and I'm the franchise owner, so I'm basically in charge of my own. I can make it as good or as bad as I want to.
Yeah.
But I choose to. It's my heart now,
Yeah.
and I've got a great team working for me that I've hired.
I was going to say, how big is your team?
4 people. So I have a full-time editor
Okay.
who lives in Oxford. I have an ad designer manager, because some of these moms and pops we have in here, they don't have a whole marketing team like Nukes does, or some of the bigger banks, First Commercial, they don't have somebody in marketing. So we step in and we're like, hey, we're going to make you something great. And then they can use their ad on their social platforms, on their websites. So that's the service we do for all of our clients. And I love that. I love working with all them and getting to know so many people.
What's it been like going from nobody working for you or with you to now having people that you can rely on and like
awesome.
managing a team.
It is awesome. And I've connected the team. So we've got the editor, the ad manager, designer. I've got a virtual assistant, which is now big. Really, since COVID, it's gotten way bigger. And she's my client concierge. And then I've formed advisory boards so far at Eastover and Bridgewater, and we're working on our Lake Caroline and Wellsgate.
Smart.
But I've got about 12 people that live in the neighborhood, and they're feeding me.
Yeah.
And it's mostly every now and then they'll throw a business out there too. Some of their insurance agent, or they're somebody that's just decorated their house. They love to share, especially if somebody's done a good job for them.
Oh yeah.
And but they're also saying, I just saw that, like one guy, it was funny. They did these retired men did a wagon at the rodeo.
Oh wow.
I mean, so random.
Yeah.
But we did like a story on it.
Yeah.
Because it was fun. They were like these 70-year-old men that got this wagon and horses and their wives dressed up, and they did something with the rodeo this year.
Very nice. I could see Tyler doing that.
Yeah. You need to look it up and see how you could get involved next year. So yeah.
They called me and asked me about it this year, but I was so busy.
They wanted. They needed a clown, but Tyler was busy.
Tell our listeners, what's it been like owning your own business and getting that started?
Very rewarding. It's awesome. It is, it's blessed my family as far as me being able to meaningfully contribute to our family income, and especially owning 4. A lot of the franchise owners throughout the country own 1, possibly 2.
Sure.
There's only a handful of us that own multiples, but I've got it structured to where everybody knows what everybody else is doing. I've kind of got a template set for all of them, and I oversee all the content. I have people helping me, but I decide who's going on the cover, what I think is a good feature. I'm trying to kind of network and work with local, nonprofits to see how we could work together. So, but then also the downside of that, and y'all probably know this, is everything falls with me. So if, somebody doesn't pay their ad and I've still got to run it in the magazine, we give them kind of three strikes and you're out, because I like these businesses, but I can't pay for their content.
Exactly.
And that doesn't happen often at all, but it does happen. And so that's the part I hate the most, is having to call people to pay their bill. Collections, but it's probably literally 5%. I mean, it's not much at all. It's a tiny part, but I don't enjoy that part at all. I enjoy the, feel goods. And now I've kind of trained even my clients. They will tag us in their socials. They want to make sure that, because now that really COVID changed all this and social media, we don't just go to those neighborhoods anymore. Yes, those are the people that receive it in their mailbox every single month without having to do a thing or subscribe or anything. But now with social media, we reach so many more people, which is a benefit for the businesses that advertise with us. They're getting it on all different platforms.
Well, I see it on LinkedIn a lot too.
Yeah. Yes, we're trying. I think I was telling Adam, I went to I guess a training or whatever they did on LinkedIn through the Gluckstadt Business Builders. And
wait, did Adam do it?
Adam did not. It was before, and I was telling. No, I missed his. It was is it Deborah Martin with Service Specialist? Does that sound right? She did it, and it was excellent. So it kind of helped me know how valuable LinkedIn is.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't using that very much before.
We've had a few different guests on here that have talked about how they've basically made careers off helping people
with LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn.
Yeah, you just don't realize. But now I'm way more into LinkedIn than I was a year and a half ago.
Well, you've got a specific demographic on LinkedIn that everybody there is trying to work towards being better, but it's all done in like a professional basis.
Exactly.
So it's this certain type of, it's not just, were you at the beach last week? It's like, I was at the beach last week and I saw these seagulls. And the lesson that I learned from this was, and that's like all you see sometimes, but it's like, well, at least you're trying.
Don't feed them French fries. That would be the lesson to learn, for sure.
Funny story, I had a seagull take my chicken nuggets from Wendy's one time. I was like 6. I still remember it to this day.
They will swoop.
Terrible experience.
They will swoop and get you.
I was so upset.
Well, how important, managing a team and especially now you have 4 publications, how important is it having a process in place and the process that everybody knows how to work it to get you to the end result?
Okay, so well, first of all, the Into Publishing, they do all of our printing and mailing.
Okay.
So it's a powerhouse, huge, not powerhouse, printing house out of Dallas, Texas. Everybody's publications go there, and then they're bulk mailed out to the we send them to all the businesses that advertise, and we send them to all the homeowners. So, and like I said, I work with all the HOAs mostly to get those addresses. So they just appear. But anytime a new business starts with us, we onboard and say, okay, this is what happens. We need your ad by the 10th of the month. This is who to talk to about that. We send reminders. And then I really try to be out there touching and feeling as much as I can, seeing clients in person and checking in with them. And they are really good. People know. I had somebody text this morning like, oh my gosh, the deadline's always on the 15th of the month, which is tomorrow. So like the portal closes and you cannot add any more content, any more ads. So you got to have it together. So I've just been like this morning with a client changing a few things on her article and ad. They're great though. They know, I think we communicate very well with them to let them know the expectations as far also the residents. We send out reminders to them. If, little Joey won the soccer tournament and got MVP, if you'd like to have that in the magazine, be sure you turn it in by the 15th or else we can still run it, but it just might be a month later.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Little Joey's not going to get the recognition.
Little Joey may miss out if Mama doesn't turn that picture in.
Understood. Well, tell us about the local presence, what that means to you, what it's like building that community with these different communities.
It's been awesome. I've gotten to know so many people, and now I'm doing business with so many people that I maybe had not known before.
Sure.
And just in my personal life or recommending to my family or, the neighbors. And that's what we say. It's everything is still word of mouth. I mean, yes, print, digital, all that matters. It matters. But you got to have so many different touch points. You cannot rely on one type of marketing. You need to rely on all of it as a group. Like one person doesn't need to put all your eggs in a basket here and say, oh yeah, somebody's going to call me. They're not. They've got to remember you every single way. So that's what when we work with our residents, we and we remind them all the time. We're like, hey, do you love your magazine? They're like, oh my gosh, I want extra copies and all this. And we're like, well, be sure to take a look. These businesses that are in here think you're important and they would like the opportunity when it comes up to work with you. And I've learned so many amazing stories about veterans. Like we'll do some veterans. We did a breast cancer thing on people in the neighborhood that had breast cancer. Just all these different ways. I feel like I've grown not only my network, but my friend group by this. And sometimes, when you're age 60, you're like, I've got enough friends. I'm good. But every day
I feel like that. I'm only 30.
Well, there you go. So, it's a feel-good thing. I love it. I love working with other publishers throughout the country, and I think it's a really good thing for these neighborhoods. And not that these neighborhoods are any more special than another neighborhood. They just fit what we do.
Sure.
As far as, and all of mine are over 500. Like Lake Caroline, for example, it mails
5,000 in Lake Caroline.
Okay, almost 2,300 on my mailing list. 6,000 people live there. So it's a small city.
Yeah.
And like Bridgewater, I mail to over 700.
That's crazy.
The Oxford, I think it's 725. So it's a pretty big mailing list to have a direct mail to somebody, every single month. And we know they're read. People have them on their coffee tables. So it's, but I love it. I love it. It's kind of like my thing. I didn't know this was my thing because I'm an artist by trade.
Right.
So, and I was just being my little stay-at-home starving artist until this came along. And, but I still get to use my creative, to kind of make sure I like how it looks. And I'll take my clients some, different things. Like I did some flower arrangements the other day and took them to some of my clients that I did. So just, I don't know. It's a good thing.
Now, with the magazine, are y'all doing any other events with that go with that, like in the neighborhoods and things like that?
Yes. So I will, the neighborhoods usually do their own events, and then I will come alongside them with Stroll, and I will help them with door prizes. I will help with, if I need to sponsor like I've done several in all these that will sponsor the part of the food, or will sponsor the wine, or will, and then I'll do some events at our customers. Like we've done a big event at Summer House. We've done a big event at Monkeys and the Commissary in the Renaissance, where we invite all the neighbors to come. We give them a discount. They sign up for door prizes. And what I like for instance, we do a big annual event at Monkeys and the Commissary. And what I do is I call our restaurant partners, which right now we've got Kessler, Aplos, Zia, the Mermaid, and Nukes, I think, because that kind of goes well, and it's not competition for the people that are actually hosting the event.
Right.
So they will partner with us and give gift cards. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
It gets the neighbors in the store, the restaurants get to, So yes, we do what we call stroll events like that are just stroll events. And then like we've done one at EK Home in Highland Village, partnered with them and did an event. So I kind of facilitate those. The ones that are actually in the neighborhood, the HOA facilitates those, but they'll call on Stroll to do door prizes, to come and help with whatever. So, and if we need to call any of our vendors to come and help with something, I'll kind of let them know what's going on. Yeah. So it's a lot of partnering here and there and connecting people.
Yeah. Networking is a huge part of what you do.
Huge part of what I do.
Yeah. We love networking.
Yes, I bet y'all do.
Yeah.
Well, y'all have got some great, I've been listening. Y'all have got some really good, I've loved everyone that I've listened to.
Well,
so it's good info.
It's probably because I'm talking.
It is. It was you. It wasn't Tyler.
And it's so important, to be successful in business and in life in general, the people that you're able to meet along the way and to grow that reach. I know your advertising partners probably, are at these events meeting people, but people actually get to know them. You talked about
the Facebook,
businesses done by, word of mouth in the Mississippi and in the South. Really, people want to know who you are. They want to know, what product they're getting. If they can know the people behind it, the story behind it, they're more likely to support that business.
Well, they are. And I started back, again, COVID, I started a get to know you article. Normally when a business partners with us after they've been running 12 issues, because everyone that partners is in there every month. It's not just a one-off. They're in there every month. And so we used to do like a spread on them after their 12th issue. During COVID, I started a new thing called Get to Know You. So like when I send that onboard, go ahead and send them a link because I want a name, face with their ad. So I say, put your family in there, whatever you want to put. I get them to send me 2 photos. I get them to tell me, a little bit about their business and if they've got like a quick tip. So I do that within their first 6 months of advertising with us to all of our business partners. It's just called a partner spotlight, Get to Know You. And my editor kind of takes the questionnaire, then she'll usually reach out to them, do a little interview, and we do, because that's what I want. I want our, neighbors to get to know who is supporting this unique type of, business that we do, advertising that we do.
Make that connection.
Well, Dakota, you want to give us your thoughts on the bourbon?
Yeah. It tastes like a bourbon. That's all I got. I'm just kidding.
You're not going to give
It's got a good burn to it. There's a spice flavor there, which I really, really like. I like it when there's a nice spice component to it. So I'm going to land it at 9.0. I think you're at 9.3. Yeah.
Well, Tay, we like to take this time, tell our listeners where they can find your magazine. I know in the neighborhoods if they live in the neighborhoods.
They're privately mailed into those 5 neighborhoods in Mississippi, plus, like I said, 550 more throughout the country. But we are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and each magazine has their own handle. So it would be Stroll Bridgewater, Stroll Lake Caroline, Stroll Eastover, Stroll Wellsgate, Stroll Reunion. And that's the same handle on Facebook and Instagram. And then a lot of our businesses will put these, like at the dentist office or they'll put their magazines out. I mean, it's not like we don't want other people to see them.
Right.
We're just paying to send them directly to these particular neighborhoods.
Right.
And then I'm on LinkedIn just as Tay Morgan. And then I've got all my little businesses because my art business is called Tay Morgan Designs. But I really don't have time for that very much anymore because I do an annual calendar each year, which I'm painting this summer. But the painting is kind of way gone by the wayside with the publishing responsibilities.
I bet.
But you know what? I love it. I really wouldn't have it any other way. It's just kind of my jam. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So
good deal.
So.
Well, to all our listeners, if you would connect with Stroll on social media and however you stream this podcast, if you would give us a rating and follow us on socials as well, and we will see you next week.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
If you have any feedback or would like to be featured, reach out to us at bourbonandbusinesspodcast@gmail.com.
Or find us on Instagram at Bourbon and Business Podcast.
Thanks again for listening.
Follow us for more content and info on the next episode.